Hey everyone, welcome back to DevStream. Today we are diving into the world of HTML attributes. We will see what they are, why they matter, and how to use them like a pro. If you are just starting with web development, this is a must know. Let's get started. Firstly, what exactly are HTML attributes? HTML attributes provide an additional information about an element. If you don't know about HTML element, you can just look for the first video which I was explaining for HTML elements. So HTML attributes are always written in the opening tag of an element and usually come in the name value pair. For example, let us create an example of a link here. Here we will define the href value. This href stands for hypertext reference. So the href attribute is an attribute that tells the browser where the link will go. For example, let us create a link which will go to the about page. Here we create a link which will redirect us to the contact page, contact.html. Let us put it here about.html contact page. So as you see here, as I said in the starting, we are seeing that HTML attributes have like a form of name and value. So for example, if we click here, it will redirect us to the about page. Let us create the about page for here. Sorry, about.html. Just create another contact.html. Yeah, let us create content here. Example, let's put a title here about page. Let us put a paragraph telling this is the about page. Just some put again content here, contact page, yeah. If we just click here on the about page, it will just direct us to the about page. So let us click to just view if it is working. Yeah, you're seeing that it is directing us to the about page. Let us go back to the home page. So let's try this contact page. Yeah, you see that it is just working. So let us dive into the second example where we will be using images img. So as you see here, we have a source attribute and alt. So this source attribute, it is used in images tag to define the image source. Yeah, and this alt attribute, it gives an alternative text for images. Yes, so this alt will be used if the image is not displayed to the user page. If the user is using a website reader, it will just read the name of the image. So let us define where the image will come from. As you saw, here I have a folder containing an image. Let us see how we just display that image. Going to images. Yeah, as you see, we are just displaying the image which is found there in our folder. Yeah, for example, let us put a value into the alt attribute. For example, let us say a programmer sitting in a chair coding. So if this image is not displayed, an alt value will be displayed so that it can read the image. Let us make a mistake here and just look if it will display the alt value. Let us delete this word create. Yeah, as you see, the alt value is just displaying itself, a programmer sitting in a chair coding. So let us dive into another example of HTML attribute by using an input. So if you don't know about input, an input is usually used in a form. For example, input. Yeah, as you see here, we have like a name and a value. To define the value which will be passed into here, we put here in text or number or any other kind of types of values. For example, let us put a placeholder here indicating that name is a name which will be displayed here. Let us give another example. If the user will pass in the input value password, so here in the type you will put in password. As you see in the placeholder, let us password. Yeah, another example, we can also use the input to just make a submit button. To display submit button, in the type we put submit. Yeah, we can also define the value of the input value. For example, login. Yeah, as you see here, we have three attributes, three examples. The first one we have text, second one password, and the third one submit. Yeah, let us use another simple example about when we are using style in order to make an inline styling of an attribute. Let us open a p tag as this is my p tag. So in order to style this, we can use an inline styling by using style. which also is an attribute which adds an inline CSS. For example, let us add a color to this paragraph. Color, let us put the red color. As you see here, the paragraph is changing its color by displaying a red color. Let us change the font weight. For example, bold, the font family, well done. Yeah, as you see here, we can use the style attribute in order to style a paragraph. So let us use a last example by using a form. Let us use a form. So when we are using a form, we firstly define the action and the method. Yeah, this is the name, and this action will define where the values which are inside here, the form, where they will be sent. So let us say that they will be sent in our index.html, and the method which we will be using is post. So in this form, we will just display some different inputs which can be used by a user in order to log in. The first input will be the name. Yeah, the name, and also the ID, which is in the form of a name and value. This ID can be used in order to be accessed by a JavaScript file or by a CSS file. Name, let us include a line break here. In the second input, the user will put an email. As you see here, we have a type email, and name, email, and the ID is email. Let us include the submit button. Submit, name, submit, value, login. So as you see here, we forgot to include a placeholder, name, placeholder email. So as you are seeing here, we can use an ID to just style our input values. Let us see an example by using internal styling. If it is the ID, we will just use the sign and ID. So inside here, we will just define the styling of the name or email or login. Let us start by styling the email. Color, red. As you see, if you write here, so let us also style the name element so that the text also can be displayed in red color. color red. As you see here, our texts are being displayed in red color. So we can use the ID in order to style a value. Let us also style this submit button. Let us include here ID submit. Submit background color blue color white. Yeah, these are the few stylings which we can just display here in this simple form. So we saw that HTML attributes provide an additional information about an element, and that they are always used in an opening tag of an element and usually come in a name value pair. And that's it for today's video and HTML attribute. Yeah, I hope this helped to clarify how they work and how to use them effectively. If you found this video useful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so don't miss future videos. Drop a comment if you have a question or want to see deep dive on forms, CSS, or JavaScript next. See you in the next one, guys.